Greetings, beloveds. Peace and blessings to you all. I am Phoenix Nadi, the Copper Shaman, and I am here with another tutorial for some beautiful crystal wrapped hoop earrings. And if you are interested in learning how to make these, stay tuned. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all of my previous subscribers and watchers. Thank you for your love and support and for being here and checking us out. Also to those who are new to my channel, welcome and thank you for being here. This is a basics tutorial and we'll just be making some simple hoop earrings, and we're going to be adding some lapis lazuli chips here to embellish it, make it look really nice. What you'll need for this, of course, are your tools, your pliers. We have some step pliers here, step mandrel like pliers here. We'll be using these to make the bail, which these here, the hooks will be going on. We have some needle nose pliers or chain nose. I always get them mixed up, but we have our needle nose here, which are those we'll be using. We will also be using our flush cutters here, so we can cut that wire really good, nice. And then we also have some needle nose with a bend. I like to use 14 gauge wire, and so that's what we have here. We also have two earring hooks as well as two jump rings made with 18 gauge wire, and then we also have some 20 gauge wire to go through our chips. So these are our lapis lazuli chips. Now I do want to talk to you guys about these really quickly, really briefly, because a lot of times people sell lapis lazuli and it's actually sodalite. And I know that these kind of look like sodalite because they have a lot of gray in them, but to tell the difference, and I'm trying to find the one that has it on here really good, and I think this one is it. You want to look for pyrite. Lapis lazuli has pyrite in it, and sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. Like this one here, this is a good one. Let's zoom in so you can see that there. Hopefully you can see it. It has pyrite in there, some good flecks of what looks like gold in these pieces here, and that way you can tell that you have some good lapis lazuli going on. So that's what we're working with today. So another thing that you're going to need is some type of round object. This is a bracelet mandrel. It's made out of wood, so it has, you know, different degrees of circumference, and this is what we'll be using. But you can use a cup, a jar, whatever you have that's going to give you the right circumference for a circle. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What I decided to do was go ahead and pre-cut the lengths that we're going to need, and of course you're doing two earrings, so therefore you need two lengths. And let me give you guys the exact measurement here. So we're going to go with inches. Let's straighten it out a little bit here. Sometimes when you buy the wires on the spool, it's got that little bend to it, but it's all good. So we got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and a half inches with each of them. And I kept my 22 gauge kind of wrapped up because there's a design that I'm going to be doing with this in between the beads, and so I'm not too sure exactly how much wire we'll need for that, so we want to make sure we just have enough on hand. All right, so let's get to making space here so we can go ahead and get started with this. In my last tutorial I showed you guys how to make jump rings, so this is a good project to begin doing that with. So we're going to bring our bracelet mandrel down so we can go ahead and start working with this. All right, so it's really simple, really easy. way to create these here. Like I said, if you have a cup or bowl, I mean, you know, whatever you need, a jar, you can utilize that to create whatever size. So we're going to go ahead and crisscross these over around. And I like to use the very end of this to make a, you know, a decent size for this piece. So now we have that circle made. And we'll go ahead and grab the other one and do that again. I've decided to do basic tutorials because, again, I've had people asking questions about me teaching. And so, you know, why not share a little bit of my expertise and my skill, my know-how, so that, you know, others can go ahead and, you know, get started with what it is they want to do in life. That's kind of how I learned tutorials and getting out there and just trying it, you know. So you want to make sure that they are the same size. And one is just a little bit bigger than the other. So I kind of squeeze them a little bit so they can kind of be in the same field, and then open it up. Yeah, about the same size there. So we're good with that. I'm going to go ahead and take my needle nose pliers. You can also use your flat nose pliers. Let me see where those are. I misplaced them. So we're gonna just go ahead and go forward with what we do have. Oh, here they are. Here we go. All right. So we also have flat nose that you can utilize as well. These are good to make sure you get like a good right angle. So I'm gonna go ahead and find the middle, which is about right here, and give myself a right degree angle. Just straight up. And this is going to end up being the area for the ring hook, or for the earring hooks. So you want to take your other tail that you have here and you want to wrap it around this wire here that you just created for the, or moved or bent for the actual earring hook to dangle from. And I do this slowly because sometimes you can mess up the shape that you had or end up making it smaller. So you want to take this around slowly. And you see how it's kind of changing the shape. But the good thing about having a mandrel, bracelet mandrel, is that you can put it back on and reshape it. Okay. So again, at this point, I'm going to squeeze it tightly so that it'll sit where it needs to sit without an issue. And always remember, because this will slide, so always remember to pull it back so that everything is where you want it to be. Okay. Hope that everybody is having a great day. Hope that everything is going your way. Hope that you're here watching and relaxing and just having a great experience. I'm going to keep squeezing this around until it gets good and tight. Okay. Got it where we want it. And I'm going to use my pliers just so that we know it is tight and snug. Looks good. Now I usually go around 3 times, or get at least three wraps here. Okay, and with 14 gauge being such a thick, sturdy, and strong wire, it is best to utilize your pliers to do this, because after a while your fingers will begin to hurt just manipulating and moving the wire with just your hands. Okay. All right, so that's the 3rd wrap around. At this point, I want to take my flush cutter, and I like to cut while I still have a tail. Go ahead and get that off. And if you don't want wires flying all across the room, grabbing and kind of put your finger on it and hold it before you clip. That'll keep that from happening. Okay, so now we have this little bitty tail right here, so we're going to go ahead and squeeze that down, crimp it down. Okay, and sometimes you can kind of do a little twist, but there we are. Okay, and you can go ahead and create the bell area for the earring hook to be placed on. We're going to use our step mandrel pliers here that we have, and they're earrings, so we don't have to have it all super big. I'm going to use the smallest one here and just wrap it around. Okay, so you get like that. I'm going to take my pliers again, and I'm going to cut right in this area here. Okay, turn it the other way, get in there and clip. Okay, from there, if you want, you can go ahead and put on your hook and everything and work, but I like to do that at the end. So I'm gonna leave this, well actually no, I'm gonna close it off actually, so that the other wire doesn't get stuck in there. So you just kind of bend it closed. So I went on and made the second one, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to adding the lapis lazuli. Now you want to go ahead and get your 20 gauge wire together. Again, I'm not quite sure on how long this length is going to be, so I'm going to put this in on my bracelet mandrel so that it doesn't unravel all over the place. And so I'm going to go ahead and just have this open. Okay, now when you're working with crystal chips, you want to make sure you find pieces that are pretty thick or thicker, so that the holes you know, have enough stone around them so that they don't the wire doesn't cut into it or break it. So we have some that are like on the edge here. This one's not too bad. We'll see. I probably wouldn't use this one because it's a very little space right in between where the bead would go. I mean, the wire would go. So I'm gonna put that one to the side. I may not use that one, but you want to be mindful of that when you're creating this piece or working with these types of crystal chips with the holes. Just make sure that you look at the hole placement, and that'll let you know whether or not it's a good piece to use. Like this one, it's not so bad, but it is a very thin piece, so you might want to watch out for that as well. All right, so let's get started. I like to put bigger pieces around the top part, and we're not going to fill the whole ring up. We're actually going to start from the side and then build our way around. So with doing that, I'm going to just pull out more of the wire, because I kind of want to start in the middle of this wire here. So let's get that going. And the good thing about working with this gauge wire, and then the way that we're working with it, is the fact that you can also you know, if you run out, you can start again, you know, in a spot and then go from there. So let's turn this a little bit so you can see a little better. And forgive me if all of this wire ends up hitting this camera. It does that sometimes. All right, so we're gonna wrap around. Matter of fact, I'm gonna cut it here just to make it easier to work with. All right, so I am going to wrap around a little bit here and give us a starting point. I like to wrap around maybe 6 times, a little uniform, because in between the wires, I think we're gonna wrap 3. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and tighten that part because that wasn't too good. Let me see if I can zoom in so you can see how this is being done. All right, So that's 4. I'm going to take the tail around again. And then you always want to make sure that you keep a tail, because that gives you a nice sturdy starting point. Okay. So I'm going to use my needle nose, the bent needle nose, and push that closer together. Kind of want to make it uniform, so since our bell is there, I'm gonna go here, and then we'll probably go there. We'll finish in that space there. All right. So at this point, sometimes you can go ahead and put your beads on and let them sit on your wire, or you can put them on one by one. So I'm gonna put this down and get the end of my wire here. Okay, out of the way for the moment. All right, so we have the end of our wire, and we want to make sure that it's pretty straight so that our beads don't get stuck. Okay, you also want to make sure that your wire fits on there okay without a problem. Now usually you use nylon pliers, but again, this is a beginner's video, so I want you to be able to learn and see how to use what you have. Okay, and most of the time we start out with the needle nose pliers. All right, so I'm gonna take a piece and I'm gonna go ahead and slide it on, and I think I'm gonna use about 20 of these for one. Let's see, where's the, there we go. We're just gonna go ahead and put a few on so that we can get started on securing them on the hoop. Okay. And don't be afraid to use the different sizes. You can use the smallest ones to the largest. I think the contrast is nice. So that's what we're gonna do here. Just different sizes, different lengths of bead. All right, so we are about halfway. Mind you, we're still going to be wrapping in between them. So we probably need about 5 more pieces. And then we'll kind of count and see how many pieces we've actually put on here. Okay, got one. And again, use the different sizes. Even if it seems long, it still gives it a wonderful contrast to the other pieces. Okay, that's 3. Let's see, 4 and 5. All right, so I'm gonna bring these down. Okay. So let's kind of spread them apart. See, yes, I think that's good. All right, and you do want it to sit like this, a little bit away from the base wire. Okay. And what I like to do is take the end of the length that we put the lapis lazuli on. I'm gonna zoom out here so we can see. And I like to just put a little knot. Okay. Really simple, nothing, you know, crazy. It's just so that the wire, the beads don't fall off. Okay, so a little loose knot there. So the goal of this is to, of course, not to tangle your wire, but we'll take one bead and allow it to sit here, right? And then you want to take the wire, remove this one. Take the wire through the hoop, okay? And I have a very long tail here, so bear with me again. All right, and then you're going to wrap it around the base 3 times. All right, just hold on to the bead. You got 1. And sometimes I'm just show you one thing that I do just to make this really easier. You want to take your tail, and sometimes I just wrap it around 2 of my fingers, like so. Okay. You don't want to do it all the way because you still have to have space to wrap, but it makes it easier to take it through the hoop. Okay, so let me see, I'll do just 1 more. All right, so now it's like this, and it makes it easier to go through. Right. Okay. Now your wire will rotate sometimes. You just have to get it back to where you had it and wrap some more. So like I said, we're gonna do 3. 3 wraps. Okay. Now you can also grab your pliers and just make sure that they are together. Make sure they're sitting nice and neat. Make sure that anything else that needs to be corrected is corrected. And so from here, if we wrapped it 3, we can go ahead and bring another bead. All right, pull that to the side and start wrapping again. Okay. That's 1. Okay. That's 2. And now this is the 3rd one. Okay. All right. Smooth them. Squeeze them together. Make sure they're where we want them to be. Everything is sitting right like we want it. Pull up another bead and start wrapping again. It goes over the top into the hoop. And we're gonna wrap 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So here I'm gonna open up this some more. My beads out of the way and make sure that everything is the way we want it to be, nice and close. Okay, looks good, right? So at this point, if it slides, you can pull it back up. We don't want to tighten everything. We want to look and make sure that the other side looks good as well. Not too bad here. Squeeze that together and we can keep going. Okay. So let's grab another bead here. Now this one's a little awkward because the hole is on the side of the bead. So what I like to do is turn it over this way because this is the front side here. Right, and we can tell that because of the way we wrapped our bell. So I'll bring it up to about right here. Sit it on my finger comfortably and then pull the wire up this way. And go ahead and feed it through the hoop here. Let's get this one out of the way. Now you see why we don't really want to use the ones that are have thin areas, because we're moving them so much that the wire can actually break the stone. So we're going to keep feeding it through. All right. One more time. Feed it through. Okay. So that one's done and it's on there really good. Looks nice. It's not sitting in an awkward way. Okay. And the goal for me here is to make sure that the wire does show in between them. I think it's a nice element to see. All right, and I think we wrapped this one. Yeah, we wrapped this one too many times. It happens. It really does. It happens a lot. But you can always just bring it back through. Okay. And straighten it a little bit. Right. And go ahead and bring your next piece back up, or your next bead. Same thing. Turn it a little bit so it sits a certain way. And let's feed the wire through again. And wrap 3 times. 2. And one more time will be 3. Okay. Make sure everything is sitting the way we want it. And we'll do this process again until we make it to the other side of the hoop. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and we'll come back to see how we finish everything off. All right, so we are at the end here, and we ended up putting 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 of these crystals on, and so we ended up having 2 left. We're gonna finish this off with the 6 like we did on the other side, and because we are at the end, we can go ahead and cut that off. So it's 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so we're going to squeeze that together. We're going to make sure everything looks good. Everything looks good and is close together. Right. So, kind of moved a little. So there we go. Just make sure everything is uniform and together. So when I finish these off, I clip this off at like the outside, about right there. Reason being is because I don't want it to scratch or anything. We are going to squeeze it down, but we just want to be mindful of those who are going to be wearing it and what these pieces can do. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side here. We just squeeze these together, and then I do want to make sure we have the same amount here, and we do. So let's go ahead and get that clip there. Okay, make sure that it is where it needs to be, and there we have it. Okay, there we have it. All right, so now we're at the point where we can go ahead and put our earring hooks on. We're going to need a jump ring here first, and I showed in my other tutorial how to make your own jump rings, if you want to go check that one out as well. So this is the back side of it, and this is the front side. Okay, we want to make sure that we put the earring hook in the right spot so that that is seen and known, right? So now we have our hook. And then, you know, we also talked about working smarter, not harder, in the last tutorial that was done. So if you don't want to make your own jump rings, you can buy them at your local craft store. You can order them online, of course, at any jewelry making store or a craft store. Or you can make your own if you are inclined to, or if you'd like to learn how to. Again, you can check out the last tutorial video that I did. Just want to make sure that this is closed good. Yeah. And there you have it. So now we're going to go ahead and get ready to complete the other one. And we still have wire left. So we're going to start with this wire. We'll go ahead and open it up so that I can push these on down. And remember, we used 13 beads. So we got 2 on there now. 3, 4, 5, yeah, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 2 of them that we don't need. That's there. And with all of that wire that I had pulled out, that was actually enough. It looks like it may be enough as well to get this one complete. And I cannot tell you how much I pulled out. I'm so sorry. But if you keep it on your spool or on your coil, then it's easier to work with. It's much easier that way. To pull out as much as you need and then maybe clip. Or if you run out, to just begin again. You might have one where you have 4 wraps instead of 3 wraps. But it still works out. Okay. So I am going to pull those beads down, and then I'm going to go ahead and coil these back up the way I had it with the other, so that it's easier to work with. Okay. Got that there. And we're going to start the same way. We're going to start in this direction and go back around. And we're going to start with a wrap of 6 to start with. So we're going to use the tail side. And then start wrapping this way. Okay. And make sure that it's close together. Okay. If you need to stop and push it together, go ahead. So that's 5 wraps there. So we just need one more. And we're gonna keep our our tail, I'm sorry. We're gonna go ahead and start bringing the beads down. So I can finish my coil here at the end. Just pull them all down. And again, we're gonna coil it on 2 fingers. Not too tight, of course. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and coil it down, so again it's easier to go through, so we're not having problems with that. Okay, just move all this that's in the way out of the way, and of course we're going to use these to tighten up. So with this being the front side, I'm going to switch it over this way so we can see where it's going. Okay, I'm gonna pass it through. And get 1, 2, 3. It's 2 and 3. Okay. Squeeze that together. Make sure it looks nice on the other side, and it does. All right. Pull another one down. Sometimes you have to go back and straighten the wire in order for the bead to go through where you want it. Right? Oops. This way. There we go. We're starting on the opposite side. Right? So we're going to turn it around this way. Just want to make sure it's sitting nicely. It's kind of positioned weird here. I think I want to turn it like that. Not necessarily sideways, but it looks like we're gonna have to. So take it over on the other side, and we'll start wrapping. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, make sure they're good and close together. Let's see how this looks on the other side. Not too bad. Looks nice. And see, so we ended up with 4 here. Okay, and I know that's because I'm wrapping it the other way. Somehow it's a little different. So what we'll do, you can either leave it that way, or if you really want it uniform and you really want to make sure that it looks good, okay, you can just undo it and then straighten your wire so that you can rewrap again. And I think what's causing this is the fact that I wrapped from the back side last time. So we're gonna straighten our wire as best as we can, because sometimes beads don't want to go back through when it has been bent a little bit. But we're just gonna kind of, you know, get it right, get it to do right. All right, ooh, that was loud. Like this one is, there we go. So we're gonna take it back through, and I had it right the first time, right? Had it right the first time, second guessed myself, but it's okay. It's okay. Everything can be fixed, you know, can be redone. It's not a problem, okay? So let's pull that back. And so now we're on the back side of the earring. So we can actually fix the positioning so that they start to look a little better, look a little more like the other earring as well, right? All right, so now we got 1, 2, okay, and 3. Bring it back up, I'll turn it around, I'll make sure everything looks good, right? Yep. Let's pull this back this way. Okay. Put our bead where it needs to be. Okay. Just this way. Okay, I'm happy with that placement. So let's pull it down. Okay. Let's get our 3 wraps. All right. So remember I told you that sometimes those beads don't want to move because the wire has been bent too much. So we're gonna go ahead and get that as straight as possible. There we go. So got 1, that's 2. And then that's 3. Okay. So let's pull our bead down. Right there is good. And then we'll do it again. 2 and 3. All right, looking good, looking good. Let's pull our bead down. Do some more. Now, sometimes based upon the size of the beads, you may need more beads, and this looks like we may need more beads. So let me add those to it. All right, so I grabbed about 5 more and clipped my wire down a little bit more here. And we're gonna go ahead and add the rest on. Right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and straighten the wire best as I can with my thumb and index finger. And I'm gonna go ahead and put these on. We may not need 5, but we want to make sure we have enough as opposed to not having enough. Right? 2 more put on here. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to coil them, the wire, so that it's, again, easier to go through. But we want to make sure we got enough room for it to still hold these here. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to wrapping. And this seems like it slid a little bit. We want to make sure it's in the same spot. So yeah, it's a little bit further down. So just kind of wiggle it up and move it. Yeah, it's about right there. All right, so let's get these 5 wrapped on. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3. Let's pull another wire down. I mean a bead down, I'm sorry. Okay. Going. I wanted to make sure you guys kind of seen the full process this time. I did do a couple of them before I added the other ones. So I wanted to make sure I had the amount that I needed to have to add it, or to add on to it. And I do have a few more just in case we still need more. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Toward the end. These are some very popular style of earrings that I've been offering for a good while, actually, for some years, when my business was Phoenixism. I know you guys see a lot of that in my videos. Phoenixism, that was the previous name of my business. But as I began going through the process of learning my culture, my heritage, I began to want to incorporate more of my indigenous heritage into what I do. Because as a kid, actually, as a child, I was always told what my culture and lineage is, and I'm fortunate to have a grandmother who was willing to do genealogy on her own, and she found, you know, a lot of information about my family's culture. And at the same time, her great-grandmother always shared information to her, as she was a full-blood Choctaw. So, you know, it's amazing some of the things that you find. One more wrap, or discover, I should say. Okay, so there we have that. Let's see, they line up pretty good. Oh, you know what? We get to do a correction because this one seems like it's a little bit shorter on one side, or it needs to be moved. No, it needs another bead. So let's do a correction here. Let's go ahead and unravel this end, because this side is up high enough. It is a little bit off, you know, so let's make it uniform. Okay, so instead of 13 beads, this one maybe needed 14. And that one has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So maybe we need to just do 15 on this one as well. So 2 more beads. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to do what I told you before, where, you know, we were wrapping with 3, but we may have to do 4 on this one. So it's already 2. It's already 2 wraps there. So what we can do is clip this tail off, or we can leave it on. And the reason why I say this is because let's grab some more wire here. I'm gonna clip because I know we don't need a whole lot. And sometimes you can take the wire and crisscross it with the other wire. And what you'll do is you will twist them together, okay? And I only do this on pieces where I can tuck and hide, okay? So we're gonna twist that together. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on here. All right, and I'm gonna take my pliers here and I'm gonna reinforce that twist, okay, so that's good and strong and sturdy. So let's keep an eye on it, make sure that we don't do it so much that it breaks, okay? So I'm gonna move it out of the way. I'm gonna get rid of all of these longer pieces here. All right, and go ahead and make sure that it's twisted really good. And again, you remember, we don't want to clip anybody, so we're gonna clip it down about right there. Okay. Oh, I don't know how I didn't see that. Okay, so we're in a little bit of a dilemma here. How do I want to do this? Let's open this up some more. Oops, excuse me. So we just still have a little bit of a tail here. So I'm going to go ahead and twist this little bit here, and then we're going to tuck it out of the way. Okay, and sometimes it's better to just go ahead and get a little bit of a twist and then go ahead and finish your wrap and then come back to it and twist. Okay, so there we go. That's out of the way for right now. We're going to go ahead and get, I think I'm going to just do one since that's a lot going on right there. And let me see. We just need two more, right? So here's one. And I think we're going to go ahead and just kind of do this one by one since we're trying to fill in. Okay. So we got that. Bend it down. It's nice. All right. And we may not need it. We may just need one. So let's take a moment to assess and see where we are. And yeah, we just needed one. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this part 6 times. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And you remember how we finished it off before on the outside as opposed to the inside. I guess you can do it on the inside. That probably would be a lot more practical. But we're already doing it this way. So let's make sure we got that flush to the base wire. So now that, ooh, have mercy, you guys, have mercy. I am moving too fast here. This was the piece that was already done. Yeah, that's the one that needed it. Okay, yeah. Never mind, y'all. Never mind. Never mind. All right, so now that we have this piece done, we can go ahead and take the piece right here that we used to attach the wires, and we're going to bend them under the crystal on this side, or under this piece of wire here. We're going to do this as best as possible. So let's go ahead and put it in between there. All right, and then just kind of crimp it down, and then we're going to pull it over to the side there. All right, and make sure we just get it to where it's kind of hidden, not really showing. And if there's pieces that can be clipped off that are kind of hanging around, use the tip of your flesh cutters to go ahead and get those down a little bit. Okay, and we'll go ahead and tuck it on in there, and we should be good to go. Sometimes you have to continue twisting to do so, just to get it as tightly as possible. That's the good thing about having them bent, because then you can get into those small areas. All right, and there we go. Looks like we got it going pretty good. Kind of hidden. You see we still have the little spiral there, so they're in there secure. I just want to turn it and put it on over there, push it on down. Okay, so now it's kind of out of the way, not super noticeable unless somebody say, hey girl, look at that. And so we're going to go ahead and finish this off by clipping the tails here. One there and this one here. All right, get those to lay down to the base wire. Okay, as close as possible. Okay, like I said before, sometimes you have to turn it. All right, same thing here. Turn it. All right, looks good, yeah? All right, so we know this is the front side here. Just want to make sure this is the way it needs to be. We're going to go ahead and get our jump ring here and open this up. Okay. Turned wrong. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on there. We're gonna get our hook, and then we're gonna close it on up. These are some of my favorites. I used to wear these all the time. I need to make me a few. I think I want some labradorite ones. I have some gray and green labradorite that I think would look great on here. So of course you always just want to go back, make sure everything is the way you want it to be. Make sure it looks good. Turn, you know, the wire if it needs to be turned. And there you have it. Beautiful pair of lapis lazuli hoop earrings. Very easy beginner earrings that can be made, of course, very simple. They're heavy duty and they are sturdy, being that we use that 14 gauge wire. They have a little bit of weight on them, so you'll feel them, but nonetheless they are gorgeous. So I want to thank you so much for watching, and if you would head over to thecoppershaman.com, purchase you some Copper Shaman jewelry, as well as entering into our raffle that we have right now. We have a $10 raffle where you can get one ticket for $10, and you are able to receive our very first Shaman box, and it's full of wonderful things. We are having a bracelet, necklace, sacred oil, sacred mist, room mist, room spray, some incense, candles, smudge kit, some tea, a tea mug, a mug is in there. What else? We have so much stuff, a journal, a pen. It's just a wonderful, wonderful box where you can utilize it to, implement your sacred ritual, your meditation, your prayer, whatever you like to do to, balance and ground and center yourself. Let me see, what else do we have available? Oh yes, I'll do guidance reading for the winner after the winner is announced. That way I can tap into the energy of the winner and give them a reading directly meant for themselves. These boxes will be offered on a monthly basis, so that means that each month the box will be something different. Now, it's not a subscription box. You will have to go to the website and purchase the box if you so choose. And the reason why I do it that way is because I don't want anybody to feel like they are obligated to do something. I don't want them to feel bogged down. I want you to get the box because you resonate with the box. And of course, the contents of the box will be revealed on the drawing day for the raffle winning box for the raffle giveaway that we do every year, actually. And it's done different times. It's either done near the spring equinox or the summer solstice. So this time is kind of in between. I'm doing this because also I feel like I'm in a great position right now to be able to offer some things. I've been receiving a lot of love lately based upon just resonance and what I've been dealing with lately. I've gotten a lot of love and support, and I'm ever so grateful and thankful for that. So I like to give back, and this is the way that I like to give back. Now, you can purchase as many raffle tickets as you like to increase your chances of winning this box, but I'm telling you now, it is full of goodies. It is full of goodies, some great stuff in there. So again, head over to the coppershaman.com and get you some jewelry or enter into the raffle for your shaman box. And I will start the monthly boxes next month because we are doing this raffle right now. Or you know what, I may end up offering maybe a smaller box, because this one is huge. This one is huge because it's a giveaway, but maybe later on in a month or just a little bit after this raffle, I will offer a similar box, maybe a little bit smaller, or maybe with not so much things, maybe. I don't know. But I'm spirit led, so however I'm led by spirit, that's how we'll operate, and we'll do it, and we'll get it done. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking time to learn something new or try something new. And I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial, and of course we'll have many more to come. I'm trying to do at least 2 a week, so check back, see what I have available. I do have some older ones that I've done, and we'll go from there. I am Phoenix Nadi, the Copper Shaman. Thank you again for tuning in, and as always, I send to you much love, peace and abundance, prosperity and wealth, as well as health. Peace and blessings be unto you.